What are you taking out of the Swift situation? Because it seemed to me like he was the coaches were busting his balls pretty hard, and I want to say it was for a motivational standpoint, but I got a couple feedbacks that they were just taking him down a notch.
I think it's pretty clear that Deuce does not think that Swift really thinks things out. I think that he was probably a little bit more rough with him verbally about it. But
you think he's lazy? Do you think he's lazy?
I don't think he's lazy. I think that he's a person that is just, and I might be making an excuse here, but I think that he's a person that just might be so naturally gifted that he doesn't think as much as a lot of other people would have to in that position. He's been successful just relying on his physical gifts. And I think what Deuce is trying to get out of him is, yeah, you've been successful. You've been successful. You've done great things. You've made great plays. You're a hell of an athlete. But if you just think a little bit about what you're trying to do and what the plan is, that there's the potential, and the word potential, I want that really to strike home here for a second. That's how he's going to reach his potential. So, putting himself in a better position, putting the team in a better position, getting in situations where if you are towards the end of the game and you are up and you need to run for 4 yards to get that first down so you can take the knees and win the game, they don't want him bouncing outside if everybody's blocking for him to run inside. Right. He is a good player. He is he's a hell of an athlete, and I think that we've all seen that in things that he's done. And I want to say was it last season he had the one-handed little kind of tip catch,
yep,
and then got the touchdown. Plays like that, like that's where he really shines.
So sum it up, Neil. What are you saying? You think he was challenging him, or do you think
he's challenging him, but I don't think he's doing it the right way.
Okay.
Rick. I think that he could potentially break Swift a little bit if he's not careful. Sorry,
Rick. What do you think?
Yeah, well, you can clearly tell Swift was on a good attitude about it. He kept saying inside. Then he took him out, then put him back in. He took a step inside, ran for a touchdown. See, you went outside, got a touchdown. So I think Swift is like, dude, shut up, man. So I think Swift, he's been there before. He's not a lazy player by any means, but you could tell by the look in his face, he was clearly getting frustrated with it, and he got to the point I don't think he really cared. And like Neil said, his method of trying to motivate him is not the right way of doing it.
He was frustrated from the beginning. Like you could see, even in the room, he was frustrated. So I think you're right, Rick, is that I think they're going about the wrong way of motivating. Now, and Deuce Staley's Deuce Staley. Yeah. Deuce is going to deuce, so I don't know.
Even if we went for the touchdown, and he was kind of ragging. I was trying to reinforce why I was ragging on him. And then I'm like, okay, dude, just let it go now. He scored a touchdown. Just, he did his job that time. Congratulate him and move on.
And I'm sorry to
you're
get
fine.
Back on the podium here, but it's one of those, I'm going to talk out both sides of my mouth a little bit. One of the CEOs of one of the major tech companies, I want to say it was maybe one of the Apple leaders. I don't know if it was Steve Jobs or whoever, irrelevant. But the saying that is basically, you don't hire smart people and tell them what to do. You hire them and let them tell you what to do. And
is Deuce Staley smart though?
I'm not saying. Let's think about it.
I didn't know offense to Deuce Staley. Hey, I want you to kick my ass when I'm in Detroit sometime. But I'm just saying.
No, I think that he's clearly smart. I mean, he's definitely an intelligent person. But what I'm getting at is, maybe if we think about it the same way and take the intelligence factor out of it and replace that with athleticism, you don't draft an athletic person and then tell them how to be athletic. You let them show you how to be athletic.
Right.
So I can kind of see, I can make arguments for both sides of this whole thing. I think that Swift does need to approach it probably a little bit more intelligently. He hasn't played a full season yet. He gets hurt, and I believe that there was little rumblings of Coach Staley calling him out a couple times, or at least once earlier on this offseason, about maybe being a little tough or being a little bit more tough this season. So I think that he has a lot of optimism. He looks at him very highly as having somebody with a lot of potential, but somebody that hasn't tapped into that potential yet in a few different ways. So,
hey, Butler, before we move on to the next topic, real quick, did you guys notice when Dan Campbell was walking on the field and kept calling for Hutchinson, Hutchinson, and then he walked up? I fully expected the rookie, whether you're first round draft pick or not. I fully expected him to be running up, running balls to the wall. What's up, coach? Coach?
Good call, Rick. Good call, Rick.
Yep. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Well, maybe it's going to his head a little bit, and that's okay. Right. He's got to. It's got to. He needs a confidence, like he talked. He even talked about confidence. So,
but you're still a rookie, and he comes just.
I agree.
Up like he's just a stroll in the park. I fully expect to see him ass those elbows and running up there. So anyway,
so let's talk about one thing.
I thought it was fine that he walked up. Why waste that energy?
The old Neil the young buck.
The old bull and the young bull.
That old fire like we have. We want to impress the coaches. Hey. Neil's just like, hey, I'm Neil. Look how good looking I am. I'm here and I'm ready to play. No wonder you like Hutchinson.
You're the only person that thinks I'm good looking.
Neil, you're a heartthrob. The women love you. I don't want to hear it. All right, we're talking about Barry Sanders now, boys. Hey, are you gonna really argue with me about talking about Barry Sanders?
Well, no, but we're building up to that. But so when Neil went to Michigan, did everything go okay with your penis extension? Everything went good. No issues.
It was incredibly successful.
Good.
It was incredibly successful.
Rick,
it's now double it's double the size of yours, Rick. So
it should be triple if you had an extension.
Okay. 1.5 to that.
All right, let's talk about Barry now. Penis is to Barry.
I'm telling you.
Can we say something in between there, not go directly from that to Barry?
No, we're going right to it.
I love seeing Barry. I've seen him play so many times, and just to see him. When me and Neil met him in Washington here, man, that dude. Every time I see him, I just get a smile on my face, man. Because it's Barry.
How embarrassing though for you, Rick, because you were shorter than him, and you kind of leaned into him, and you put like a thumb up.
I'm looking at the picture right now.
It's a horrible picture.
It's a great picture. And Barry
says, it's a terrible picture.
And Barry says to me,
go get the picture, Rick. Go get the picture. Rickson, go get the picture. All right. What do you think about Barry, Neil?
Meeting him in person?
No, just being on Hard Knocks, being there.
No, I think that it was awesome that they had him on there. He is, without a doubt, and always will be, unless something incredible happens, the most famous Lion ever, and he's very recognizable. And man.
Barry, not hanging out, baby.
Let's say.
I'm okay. Sorry, you didn't have the thumbs up. You had the.
And Barry, and I know I'm a pissed off AJ here, but Barry goes, "Where you from?" I said, "I'm from Taylor." And Barry goes, "That's a nice place."
This is how you pose for a picture with a Hall of Famer wearing a Santa hat.
No,
not dancing.
There you go.
Come up.
There you go.
I never once, in all years of watching Barry Sanders play, never once saw him look like he was out of place or uncomfortable in the situation. He looked like he had this. He was just a man in the zone. Until he stood next to Rick.
When he posed with Rick.
No, I jumped up and I did. He goes, man, you got some energy, dude. I said, how you doing, Barry?
Can we put those two pictures up one more time just to finalize the segment, please?
Oh, done.
Me and Barry hanging out.
Let's vote, boys. Detroit Sports Nation. Who looks better in that picture, Neil or Rick?
Now let's have a second vote. Let's have a second vote. Who looks taller?
Oh, well, duh. The only time I've seen you shorter than Rick was at the Safe House in Milwaukee. Other than that, I've never seen you shorter than Rick.
Which that was actually really cool. We didn't get a chance to talk about this. Let's talk about that super quick. Last year, Butler was an absolute sweetheart, and he got us tickets to go to the Monday Night Football game in Green Bay, and it was in September, and it was on my birthday. So we got to go up there, and it was truly a cool experience from a visiting fan's perspective. We were treated very well compared to some of the other places that we've gone.
Absolutely.
But there was this really cool bar up there, and it was called the Safe House. And
that's in Milwaukee.
and that's in Milwaukee, and everything was spy themed about this whole place. So we sit down at the bar. I'll spare the rest of the story.
Hey, you can't tell too much about it, Neil. Remember, we're agents now.
We're sworn to secrecy.
There was a special stool, and it made me shorter than Rick.
The stool would go down, so everybody sat down at the
You're
bar.
The one sharing details.
But is it went down?
It would go down, but it went so slow that you couldn't tell until all of a sudden it was like, "What's going on over here?"
But it also
I was almost sitting on the floor.
The bartenders, they give us a private tour afterwards.
Yeah, that was super cool. That was a super cool place.
You ever in Milwaukee, you got to check out this speakeasy because it is badass.
Heck yeah.
Let's go back to Barry.
We're done with Barry. I mean, everybody loved to see Barry. It was awesome.
What was your favorite Barry run, Butler?
My favorite Barry run is the one against the Dallas Cowboys, where he bounces off everybody. He turns. I don't even know if they showed it there. I'm just talking about my overall.
I don't know if they showed it tonight.
Well, mine's the Chicago. He just spins. Everybody thinks he's tackle stand.
No, the Dallas Cowboys, because he's shedding people. He's turning his elbow, and he's just. I mean, he's Barry.
I once did an interview with Reggie White, and Reggie White says, "Man, I go to tackle him. I chase him around. He goes, I got to understand that I'm just gonna stand here because he'll be back."
Right.
Exactly. I mean, I think Barry Sanders, and it was a joke back in the day. I don't know if it's a joke everywhere, but I think he ran more side to side than he did forward.
Oh yeah.
In his career. I mean, if you added up the side to side yardage, I mean, it's incredible.
He was all over the place.
He's Barry. It's Barry.
My favorite one was not one that'll show up on many highlight reels, but it was at the very first Lion games I ever went to. My dad took me down to the Silverdome, and they were playing Tampa Bay in the creamsicle uniforms, and it was just a routine run through the whole straight line 60-yard touchdown that Barry had. But that was my favorite one. It was the first touchdown I ever got to see live.
Didn't he have two 80-yard runs that game? Was that the game he had two 80-yard runs?
I don't think it was that one.
It was against Tampa Bay, though. Yeah.
You know what I think's awesome about Barry is whenever you talk about him, like all of us were smiling. It was just like, yeah.
And that's the thing. And I think that I wouldn't be too surprised if Coach Staley had something to do with the timing of Barry's visit there, with him being so critical of Swift, because I think that he sees maybe not Barry potential in Swift, but greatness in Swift.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that that's what he wants him to aspire to try to accomplish, is similar things like that, to have people look at each other and tell stories about, remember that one time that Swift ran this one touchdown, it was all crazy, and sit there and smile and enjoy and, clank glasses over it. So I wouldn't be too surprised if there was something more to that.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way.